Hello, all, and welcome to this episode of the Principal's Office. I'm Jared Warren, the principal of the Sypek Center.
And I'm Phil Crisostomo, principal here at Assunpink.
Yeah, and we're here to just talk about some couple of things, but we have it's a special episode, I would say. We have our Educational Services Professionals of the Year and our Teachers of the Year in a additional segment to this that we are going to get to. But first, Dr. C, we're back here. It's January. How was your winter break? Well needed time off?
So it was well needed, and it was actually really productive. I don't usually, sometimes you get to a break and you hit a brick wall and you're done. Mm-hmm. And this time I actually got a lot of stuff done. I also got sick, but went through the whole house, and it hit me again coming back from break. But it was really nice in the fact that we got some stuff taken care of at home. Was trying to catch up on some stuff here, just so I could feel coming back in January. I did go visit my family. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I grew up in Southern Maryland. So I didn't grow up here in New Jersey. This is a new place for me. That's why you're wearing the Eagles gear and I am not. But I went to go visit my mom and sister in Southern Maryland for a couple of days as well, because it'd been a little while since I've had a chance to see them. But it was a good trip. I had a great time, some good food, and now it means going to the gym. So how about you?
Nice. Same here. It was good to get some time off, to spend some time with family, get some projects done around the house. And then just simply try to have some downtime with your family and, do some fun things with the kids. Basketball started, so we're still involved in sports. My little girl's an Irish dancer. She's involved with gymnastics as well. And my 1-year-old just likes to wreck house, which is great. So we definitely had a great time. And yes, I understand you're a Washington Commanders fan. So
well, and both of our teams are playing.
They're in the playoffs, which is good.
Yeah,
which is good. So we're both happy at this point. But no, that's awesome. And, I think it's good, and it's what we relay to the students as well and staff, that we all need breaks. We're going, and it's good to have a break, and it's good to rediscover some of your passions and spend time with people who you normally might not get a lot of time to spend with. So,
and you know what? Sleep.
Right.
Sleep is really nice. Right. I got a little extra sleep. It was nice to be able to sleep in, not have to get up at 5:15 in the morning. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be honest. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Rest is important. But we also have some, now that we're back here in January to resume the school year, we have a couple important things coming up. I think for both schools, we have the end of our first semesters coming up on January 28th. Once that's done, January 29th is the start of our second semester, and we're in the second half of the school year already. Specifically at the Sypek Center, we had a beautiful fundraiser right before break. Winter Wonderfest involved several of our programs: culinary, HTCM, and graphic arts. Great turnout this year. Lot of folks came out to support our programs and spend a morning with each other. And it was a good event that we'll have for more to come.
And if you missed it, it was great food. So if you go for nothing else, you got to go for the food.
Food was excellent. Absolutely. We also have next week, we have a day of service coming up at the Sypek Center on the 17th, so a week from today. And it's going to be during our advisory time, and it's a school-wide event, and it's a day to honor community service, because the following Monday is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. It's something we'd like to do every year. So we have that coming up. Also, we have some district-wide, we have some admissions testing coming up for our incoming 9th grade class next year. So, Dr. C, you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I know we're in the process of garnering applications now. We're doing guest visits. So if you're a prospective student, you've not had a chance to do a visit, we highly encourage that, because it's really important for you to see what life is like here. Mm-hmm. And I've learned in my few months being here is that this is really not a traditional high school at all. Mm-hmm. The experience is a lot different, and especially because it's a smaller school, smaller community, but it's a chance to be able to make some great connections, and also to meet people from different walks of life and in different programs that you never would come across paths with before. So, as I see our students, participating in different activities and getting to know each other, whether it's Fall Fest or Winter Fest or PTA events and such like that, just the chance to be able to meet and connect with different people. It's kind of cool to see that. But you don't really know what that experience is like until you come visit, right? So we want to encourage, if you have not had the chance to come visit yet, it's a great opportunity to do so. But we also want to make sure you get those applications in, because if you don't apply, you can't get in. Once we hit our main admission dates, I believe it's rolling afterwards. But once the spots fill up, they fill up. So you want to make sure that you get your applications in if you're considering coming here. We'd love to have you here at Mercer County Technical Schools.
Absolutely. It's a great experience. And if you're interested, like Dr. C said, please apply. We have testing dates coming up pretty soon. So please get those applications in and feel free to contact Mr. Orff, our Director of Pupil Services. If you have any questions regarding admission dates, testing dates, the admissions process, and so forth, it's also available on our website as well. Dr. C mentioned our PTSA. Our PTSA has been incredible this year. The participation has been really, really high, which is what we need here to support our students and our programs and staff. And we have our next PTSA meeting this coming Monday, the 13th, at the Sypek Center at 6 o'clock or 6:30.
6:30, yeah.
6:30, I believe, in Building C. So it's a good time to come out, learn about what we do, what's going on in our schools, and how you can get involved and how you can support our programs.
Yeah, and you don't have to be on the executive board to make a difference, right? With PTSA, as long as you're showing up, as long as you're willing to take a part somehow, and maybe it's being part of a fundraiser, maybe it's learning when we do our Dine and Dash or helping to organize an event. We need people from that are willing to whether it's one event or all year long. So we really want to encourage all of our parents to come out and participate with the PTSA, and they really do such a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. So what else is cooking at the Assunpink Center?
So I think you mentioned this already. We're in the midst of we're getting ready for the second semester, but that means midterm assessments. And so as we speak, we have students that are in the process of taking those midterms. So we wish them well. I think the most important thing to think about as we get to the midterm experience is try not to let the stress of taking these tests get to you. So we are trying to, our student council is rolling out different activities and videos to watch, people to learn about how to de-stress and not let those assessments get to you. Because sometimes all the testing kind of messes with your mind a little bit. It's a lot of work. And, we know that we have some great students here, but you know what, it's a lot to be able to take that opportunity to sit down and focus on doing this well and not letting that stress keep us from performing our best. So, I definitely want to shout out Ms. Hendrickson and the student council for coming up with the videos and the ideas for being able to de-stress each day and just be able to relax and not allowing the midterms to define who we are, even if they are defining part of our grade.
Right. Our student council has been phenomenal. They starting off with Assunpink, creating an Instagram page, and now Sypek has one as well, which is awesome. Something I know also that we're doing on both our campuses right now is, we don't have our traditional sport programs here at the Assunpink and Sypek centers. We do have our esports team, of course, but we also have our CTSOs that our students participate in. So right now, Skills USA, which is CTSO that pretty much all of our programs participate in. They are now doing their local competitions within their shops to see if they qualify for the state competition. So I know those are rocking and rolling and getting going in all of our shops coming up. Specifically about the culinary department, we have the ProStart through the National Restaurant Association. Those competitions are coming up pretty soon. Next month is going to be the big state competition, and hopefully we can have some good results. Kids can get a great experience, and we'll see what happens. But
yeah, we've had Skills USA competitions going through this week as well. I think our final one is next Monday or Tuesday, and so just sitting in for the first time and seeing the experience has been eye-opening for me. Definitely a little bit of pressure trying to be able to do well and perform well. But at the same time, just seeing these kids work hard and putting that knowledge to work, Because when you go out in the working world, you have that pressure every day. You don't know what you're going to find when you go out to a job site. You don't know what you may have to fix, and so being able to think critically, think on your feet, it's important skills to have. So it was nice to see these skills at work as they're doing these competitions. So it's been really fun to do those, and to also meet some of the judges. We've some of our teachers also had the craft advisories, between their competitions. So it was nice to meet some of them and talking with them and students and parents about the impact of the program and how we can improve it and what's working well with it. So a lot going on with the Skills USA competitions that I'm just now learning about.
Yeah, and what Dr. C mentioned about our craft advisory teams, these are collaborative teams with students, parents, folks from the industry, our staff members here as well, and they get together several times a year to discuss, kind of give an overall picture of what's going on in the schools, what's going on in the industry world, and give different perspectives, and have a good productive conversation about the future of our programs, and really tailor it to what the needs of the workforce and industry are right now. So great ways to collaborate with folks. A lot of good things happening right now in the doldrums of January and February in New Jersey, but lots of exciting times, and we're just going to keep it going. But yeah.
So we also had our Winterfest right before break. So the Thursday before break was Winterfest, so that we could we brought all of our afternoon shop students out, as well as our HSA students, and they do this annually with Student Council and the Wellness Club. And I have to say, they do such a good job. They pretty much bring it to me, ask me to approve it, and they lay it all out. Like, everything has been thought of. So kids had a great time. Really enjoyed themselves, just being able to take that break and just enjoy the holidays. We also tried something new. We did a rock, paper, scissors tournament.
I heard.
The day before break. And so in reality, when I was thinking of this, kind of a cool intended, instead of let's reward the kids that are coming the day before break. Because sometimes we say, yeah, you know what? I want to go on vacation early, or I just don't feel like going, or but it's every day being here is important. And so, we did that because we figured, A, it wouldn't take a lot of time, and B, let's have a little more fun. So I will say I won the staff tournament, and I was considered, was going to allow a teacher to be able to leave early, give them a gift card, and guess what? I guess I get to leave early. But we did have a lot of fun out of that. So we did an AM one, a PM one, and then one for our staff. And so it was a good time had by all. A little healthy competition. I could hear the staff members on the radio asking if they were chicken or they were going to show up. So, but we had a little fun out of that. We're thinking of doing something before every break that we have, just so that we encourage our kids to come off every day through school.
Awesome. That's a good deal. And we'll have to invite you over to Sypek Center when the ping pong tournament and the pickleball tournament takes place.
Okay.
So that's coming up. And contrary to popular belief, you Seinfeld fans out there, according to Kramer and Newman, rock does not beat everything. So just wanted to clear that up. But no, great.
Now, I wonder who would win between us, rock, paper, scissors.
Well, we'll do it off camera. That sounds good. But so next part of the segment is interviews with our ESPs of the year and teachers of the year. For the Sypek Center, we have our Educational Services Professional of the Year, Miss Barbara Dunn, who is one of our instructional assistants, and our Teacher of the Year is Miss Carrie Perlman, who is our graphic design instructor. So it was great to meet with them and get their perspectives on what they do every day. And how about over the Assunpink Center?
And at Assunpink, we have Brian Hayner, our electrical teacher, as well as Marsha Kelly, who's our social worker. So, a little bit, we'll get to be able to, you'll see that segment, so you can hear a little bit more about their experiences being here. I had to say, when I was Teacher of the Year in 2008, 2009, I think it was. But the difference was the teachers would just go and they would rank and vote by numbers. So you did a first place, they would get 3 votes, and second place they would get 2, and third place they get 1, and you just kind of tally it all up together, and you get Teacher of the Year. And it was nice to be recognized, but the process now through the Governor's Educator of the Year, being able to talk about what they, what really makes them a Teacher of the Year, why we should award them. I think that process honors what they do so much more. So, we're glad to be able to honor them. I think was and I'm sure you've seen some great statements from the nominees or for the nominations, and so did I. But it was a great experience being able to not only see them, but to recognize them too. So
Yeah, it was really great to read through all the nominees information and why they were nominated from their peers and folks who were involved, and it was really rewarding just to read that, to hear about staff members in your school.
yeah, I think it really makes it much more personable and much more meaningful
Right.
to get that award, and it also shows you why they're deserving. And not that all of our staff are not deserving of an award and of all the hard work they do, but I think it is just as more meaningful to know what the impact is that you've made.
Absolutely.
So at this point, we're going to turn it over to our segment, so you can get to meet the teachers and educational services. That's a handful, isn't it? Educational services professionals of the year.
I know what you're talking about. Thanks, all.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Principal's Office. I'm Jared Warren, the principal here at the Sypek Center, and today I have two special guests here with me. We have Miss Carrie Perlman, who is our graphic design instructor, and Miss Barbara Dunn, who is our instructional assistant for our programs. So, welcome, everyone. And the reason why I have these two wonderful staff members here today is to celebrate their achievement this year of being named the Sypek Center Teacher of the Year and the Sypek Center Educational Services Professional of the Year. So congratulations to you both. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to recognize you and have our community recognize you as well. So I'll start off with Ms. Perlman here. Ms. Perlman, our graphic design instructor. So Ms. Perlman, tell me a little bit about yourself and your role here, and your time here at the Sypek Center.
Well, this came as a second career for me. I spent 35 plus years in the industry doing various print and packaging roles. I had reached up to the top of my career, and then this opportunity came to be, and I had spent my lifelong time as a creative individual training and teaching students out of college. So what would be more perfect than teaching in a vocational education setting?
That's awesome.
So
Yeah, and a lot of our teachers from our CTE programs, they do come to us from their industry,
Right.
And they have their other passion besides their trade at heart of teaching students. So it sounds like you found your passion, your other passion, and we're very fortunate to have you here. And you are such an asset to our students, our staff. You're very meticulous. You're very passionate, and you have a heart of a teacher. And I'm proud to work with you. So,
thank you.
yeah, you got it. Absolutely. So we also have Miss Barbara Dunn here, who is our Educational Services Professional of the Year. Ms. Dunn is our instructional assistant. She works with students in our academy programs. So, Ms. Dunn, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role here, and let people know who you are.
Again, as Ms. Perlman, this is a second career, and I came here about 6 years ago, part-time, and then Mr. Warren gave me the opportunity to become a teacher's assistant. I assist various students that maybe need an extra hand with the reading or the understanding of the programs, as well as the teachers. I enjoy it very much. The staff is great, and I enjoy the students. If you can make a difference in one student's life, I think it's great. So that's kind of my role here, and I'm going to keep doing it as long as I can.
Yeah, no, and again, we're fortunate to have you here as well, Barb.
Thank you.
And you have a really big heart. You have patience, and you work well with administration, teachers, and of course our students. So thank you for all that you do every day. And Carrie, thank you for all that you do every day.
Thank you.
It doesn't go unnoticed. And again, very fortunate to work with you both. And we'll just keep this thing going, and have a good, strong rest of 24-25 school year.
Will do.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Wizard Nation. Today we have with us our Teacher of the Year, and that is Mr. Brian Hayner, and our Educational Services Professional of the Year, and that's Ms. Marcia Cowley. They are here with us today in our studio over at Assunpink. First of all, so that we can congratulate them once more on their accomplishment of being honored this year, but also just to understand a little bit more about who they are and what they do. So, first of all, again, congratulations. It's a great honor to be selected as a Teacher of the Year. And if you're not familiar with the process and it's not already said, when we select a Teacher of the Year, we just don't go and ask for people to put a name in a hat. We actually ask them to tell us why it is that we should select you as that person, as that awardee for the year. Because and we've got some wonderful statements that have told us about the nature of what you do and why you have been so important to the lives of these students, of your fellow staff members of the school community. So that's what's great about the process is we actually are as we go through this get to hear and see and learn about why you have made the impact that you have. So congratulations again. Glad you could be on the principal's office for today. So I'm going to start, Mr. Hayner. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience here at Mercer County?
Sure. So here at Mercer County, my experience has been very pleasurable. Staff is great. Anytime I need anything, everybody's always very accommodating. Always feel welcome. I kind of do like the fact that I have electricians on, like I call it over there, where nobody really comes over. Supervisors come and go as I need them. They're not coming down there watching me. They're coming down there to say hello. And I think that's important. Allowing us as instructors to kind of do our own thing, I do think makes our district a lot better than other districts.
Wonderful. Now, tell us a little bit, because I know everybody knows we have an electrical program, but tell us a little bit about what makes the electrical program so great. I mean, yesterday this week we had Skills USA. We've had students that have been, working towards different competitions. Mm-hmm. We have students going out into the working world already. So tell us a little bit more about the program. What students are learning, what are they getting out of this, and why it's so important.
So basically, we try to focus on what real world things would happen. I try to make sure that they are challenged at all times. Always make sure that they understand what structure is. One of the biggest problems we have in the trades right now is soft skills. People don't really understand how important it is to show up for work early, what it means to be prepared for work, to get ready to work. In a trade, you get there, you got to set up, you got to work, you got to clean up. That's a 9-hour day. We do try to simulate that down to a 2-hour window, and structure is very important. The students are seated, ready to learn, full uniform by 7:55, and classes start at 8 o'clock. Why? Well, at the end of the day, if I'm going to tell you, how important that is, I make sure I'm also here early. Again, that's, practice what you preach. They tend to, once they realize how important the structure is in the real world, they do accept it. They do like it. They actually enjoy it. It allows them time to process, allows them time to settle in. One of the big things I like to teach them is about having a morning ritual. Basically, making sure you get out of bed the same time every day, have an alarm clock, make sure you know what you need to do to get yourself ready for the day. It's very stressful when you got to rush to work, get ready, and a lot of them, they need that time to decompress, need that time to settle in. And I do think by having them ready, full uniform to learn for class does help them develop those skills, those soft skills.
Yeah, and I noticed a couple times that I've walked through it, I've seen you, talking with, about some of those soft skills. I think yesterday you were talking about money and, thinking about your finances and why that's important. So, I think it's cool that you're making those connections to, what's going to happen in the real world. And, one of the things that I've noticed as a frustration as a principal before is, we're not always preparing our kids for what life is like after graduation. We just try to get them to that point with a diploma. So I love that you're making those connections to what life is really going to be like. So, Ms. Cowley, I'm going to ask you the same thing. What's your experience here at Mercer County?
Sure. So it's also been a pleasure working here. I've been here for 2 years. So I moved from New York City to here. So I definitely, the transition was very easy. I think one thing that I really love about MCTS and just the district in general is the fact that I'm allowed to bring up new ideas, and everyone's very welcoming and supportive of any ideas that I have. And of course, the collaboration between the staff, administration, just everyone in the building. I think that's something that I didn't get previously from other districts that I've worked in. So I really appreciate that. Like Brian and I have worked together with different, students and different scenarios. So it's always great to just, even with him, working with him is very easy. And that goes for all the teachers that we have here on campus as well.
Now, I know we throw around the term of a social worker, but really, what does your job entail? Because I know some people watching this really, well, I've never met with Ms. Callie. What does she do?
Sure. So I definitely think that social workers wear many different hats. And I think in schools are a little bit different than, other social work positions outside of a school district. For me specifically, I do many different things. So it can go from doing mandated counseling individual counseling, group counseling, dealing with crises. So if any student is having a hard time, they come to me and we talk it out. If there's conflict, any conflict between students, we talk it out. So I want to make sure that students are safe and that they can academically be successful, right? And a lot of times I tell our students that mental health is important, so we have to learn just different ways to cope. And like you were mentioning earlier, I think a lot of times we do try to just get our students from freshman year to graduation, but my job is to teach them in that between time. How do we address this, right? Because just because we're struggling right now doesn't mean we're not going to have similar struggles when we're older, when we leave high school. So how do we work through that? So that's one big thing that I work a lot with the students. So conflict resolution, time management is definitely a big one for our seniors, and understanding also that they need to show up, right? Attendance is important. Although we're almost at the finish line, it doesn't mean that we kind of just give up and just stop doing what we're supposed to be doing. And then the other side is also we're just working with our students with IEPs, special education, making sure that they are being accommodated. And that's by supporting the student, the parents, and also the teachers if they need extra support in the classroom as well.
Okay. So I know you said you moved here a couple years ago.
Yes.
From New York. That's got to be a big change.
Yes, definitely. I think that, I think the difference is that I went from having a bigger caseload compared to more intimate and more, one-on-one with students, which is what I truly appreciate and want it. Because I do get that time to get to know all of our students. So our campus isn't big compared to other districts, and that's also a benefit. I get to talk to them. I know a lot of the parents. I can reach out to parents. I do have the time and availability to meet with a lot of our students. So that has been very helpful. And same thing with the share time. Although they're not here full time, if there's ever a need, we are able to do that. And that's something that I really love about this school district.
So now what brings you, Mr. Hayner, to Mercer County? What were you doing before you came here?
So I have my own electrical company. I'd been operating that for about 20 years. I was teaching at night also. I was starting to get burnt out from the grind. I was getting up early in the morning, working real late, working 7 days a week, and it was just getting to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm getting in my 40s, not really hustling like I used to. 20s and 30s were a little bit easier. Started teaching at night. I really enjoyed it. I didn't understand until the first time a student really was like, wow, look at what I just did, and proud of themselves, how important being a teacher was, and how important it also it changed my perspective on how I viewed things at work too, because at work it's get it done now. It's got to get done. It's getting done, and not being very nurturing, not very accommodating. Through education, I've learned that it's so important that every student's an individual, and every student can be successful as long as you allow them to be an individual. And that's important, and that's something too. As tradespeople, as these young people develop and come into the trades, we need to learn that too, because they have potential. You just got to teach them what that potential is, and how to allow them the ability to take that potential and develop it into a skill.
Well, and I know for me, getting into teaching was just being able to work with students. And, it's just the joy I get from being able to see them accomplish something. And I'm hearing that same thing from you. Because, we can go and we can teach and we can leave, but really what's driving us to do the work that we do. So now what brought you into education, Ms. Callie?
So prior to going into education, so I've been in the mental health field for 10 years, but 5 in education. My first job, I was actually working with students who dropped out of high school, and they went to a vocational trade school while getting their GED or high school diploma. So I really wanted to kind of fill that gap, right? How do we get our students to, or any students to finish out high school, and making sure that we do transition them into whether it's the work field, a tech career, or trade school, or military, whatever it is they choose to do. So that was, one thing that I've always loved. And then on top of that, it's the mental health part, where we need to make sure that our students, as well as adults, right, so also staff and admin, that we are also here and focused. And if we do have any issues or barriers, that they're able to come and talk through it, and how do we get through that? Again, any barriers will come up, whether we're 14, 15, 20, 25, 40, 60. So, but we need to know how to cope with them, right? We can't just allow certain things to make us fall apart because we still have responsibilities and things to finish and get done.
And I like what you said about filling that gap because, as a tradesperson, you hire somebody who's in a trade program, and the teachers, they're great. You get them on the job site, and they shut down. They don't want to do anything, and that gap that you're talking about is very important because it's not that it's the child doesn't have the ability to do it. It's us as educators are responsible to make sure that they have those skills that allow them to make those adjustments like you were talking about. And it's very important to understand, listen, we all have anxiety, we all have issues. We learn to process those in different ways. You've got to learn how you're going to process that because on the job site, we don't have time for that. If you're having a bad day, we all have bad days. I don't feel good, whatever. It doesn't, we have to understand that, yes, we should allow ourselves those times that we need, but at the end of the day, sometimes we don't have time for that on the job. So you got to learn how to almost disassociate with that and say, okay, I understand I'm having a rough day. I've got to get this done. Let me take 5 minutes, recenter myself, reset, but it has to get done. There isn't the option of not doing it isn't there. And I think that's important. And I like some of those points that you hit.
Yeah, how do we set them aside so we can go and do the work that we're here to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, tell us a little bit more about yourselves. I mean, we see you in the classroom, we see you in the office, we see you in a professional setting all the time. But let's tell us a little bit about like what makes you you. Like, tell us about your family or hobbies, things that you like to do.
Okay, so I've been married for 18 years. I hope I got that right. I went to trade school. I went to the Ocean County Vocational Technical Schools. I went to the Jackson Center. I went there for 2 years. I got very lucky. I got a job right out of the gate. I love doing electric work. I got very lucky in high school at that level. I knew what I wanted to do. I worked for a couple different companies. I was at one company for almost 8 years, started my own business, got married, joined the fire department, had 2 kids, became a Freemason. And then once my kids started getting a little bit older, I realized I wasn't around as much, that I should have been. One of my main transitions into education from the trade, so to speak, was we were going through family photos. I noticed I wasn't in them. And I said to my wife, I'm like, Liz, why am I not in these photos? She's like, you're not there. And I was like, and it was kind of like an eye-opening thing. So we sat down and we discussed it. And then I made that transition into education. As I made that transition into education, I noticed a difference in the way that my children were towards me. I think they understood and respected that. Once they got in the high school level and they started doing band, and then they found that I was in band in high school, it was this whole big thing. And then watching them work so hard and do something and being able to be there for them. We do 2 weeks of band camp every year with them, and it's a lot of work. September, October, November is band. That's it.
Yeah, my daughter's a band too. I get it. I understand completely.
Yeah. So it's so important as parents that we really understand. It's not about what we provide. It's about the time. It's about being there. And as an educator, it is, when a student asks you a question, you give them that time. You see the difference too in that student. And as far as education goes, being an educator has totally changed my view on everything.
And Ms. Callie?
So for me, I actually went to Hamilton High West, so one of the schools that we work here with closely. After that, I went to college. I went to Keene, and I double major also at Rutgers. So I was going to Keene and Rutgers at the same time. I got to do a degree in psychology and psychiatric rehabilitation. After graduation, I moved back again to Mercer County. I didn't like it, so I just packed my bags one day and then moved to New York City. It was kind of like a very almost impulsive decision, but I really wanted to try something new. So I moved to New York City for about 8 years. While I was there, I got married. I had 2 kids. I went back to school. When I had only my daughter, I went to Columbia. So I got my master's of social work there. And after that, I've been spending a lot of time running. So the reason why I started doing that was during my internship. One of my supervisors, she actually started a program to help students with attendance. So you were only able to participate in a running club if you were in school. So we did middle school and high school at that time. And that really helped. Like, it really increased and made something, for the students to look forward to coming to school. You didn't need to be a straight A student. All we wanted was you had a C or higher, and it helped. So I really, made me realize, something so tiny that you don't realize that students will be motivated. So a lot of it, I kind of took it from there, and it's also more of a self-care thing. So for me, I like to run. I know a lot of people are like, what is wrong with you? Why would you want to do that to yourself, right?
I was thinking it. I wasn't going to say it.
But it's almost, I think of it, and I try to tell students, it's almost like a sense of you have, you're able to determine like how far you want to go. Like if I want to go run just for 10 minutes, no one's going to, there's no race, there's no competition. It's more of that. So I have done like half marathons though, and like 5Ks and all of that. And it's a lot, I think, just like a mental thing, like how far can I go, and also being dedicated, right? Like I can't just get up and sign up for a half for next weekend. There's no way. Like I need to make sure that I find enough time. So it's a lot just for myself, discipline for myself, and to stay present. So a lot of times I tell everybody, you know, we work with kids all day, and then I have 2 little ones at home. So when I go home, I'm also with other little kids.
Always on.
Yes. So I have to always find that time for myself to make sure that I'm able to be present, right? And that's similar to what you were just talking about. Like we all have things going on, but I always have to find at least, like I try to tell myself, give myself 1 hour a day. So I have to show up for myself so I can show up for others as well.
Well, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of insight about who you really are, both inside the classroom and the school and outside. We're glad to have you here at Mercer County Technical Schools, and congratulations again. It's a great honor to be awarded Teacher and Educational Services Professional of the Year. And while we have, I believe all of our staff are wonderful here at Assunpink, at the same time, you know, consider the honor, and we're definitely looking forward to seeing who we're going to honor next year as well, too. So congratulations again. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in for our Teacher of the Year segment. Hope you had a great time learning about our teachers and ESPs of the year. We're going to finish it off. I know you said off camera, but I'm going to challenge you now.
All right, here we go. But just a reminder, at MCTS, what happens here?
Magic happens here.
You got it.
Magic's going to happen when I want to beat you, too.
Oh, here we go. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh!
Woo! Paper covers rock, I think.
Best 2 out of 3?
Here we go.
All right, one more.
All right, here we go.
Oh! So you would have beat me.
It's all right. It was good. It was good. We'll do a best out of 45. Okay. See y'all.